5, 6, 7, 8. Rock step, triple step, rock step, cha-cha-cha, rock step.
Hey there, welcome to the Gender Dance Podcast. My name is Lou. My pronouns are they, them.
And I'm Kate. My pronouns are they, them.
Just two they, thems ready to talk about dance.
Dance and stuff.
Dance and stuff.
Lou, what's on the docket today?
We're going to talk about dancing while genderqueer.
Yes. Well, we're both genderqueer, so where do we start?
Yeah. Well, we've talked a little bit about our own personal stories about coming out and when and how that happened in our first podcast, Meet the Gender Dance.
Yeah, we talked about it in our first podcast when we kind of did a get to know ya. And so we did talk a little bit about our backgrounds. But today I feel like we really want to get into what it feels like first to be out there. And also we both have been in the scene for a little while, and maybe we can also talk about spaces that are safe for queer folks to enter into.
Oh,
I feel like that could be
a lot.
There's not a lot, but it's growing.
Yeah.
It's totally growing.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, for the most part, since dance is a binary art form, that it has historically been men leading and women following, when you go out there as a genderqueer person, especially as a non-binary genderqueer person, it starts to be like, where and how do I fit in?
Totally.
Do I exist here? Am I even welcome in this space? Like a thing that happened to me that was very hard when I, in my dance journey, stopped presenting so femme and started leading. About 60% of the scene stopped talking to me.
Wow. Oh, my word.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And I was like, got it. You guys don't know how to see me. You have no idea how to interact with someone like me.
Yes.
Because I'm not like playing the game that everyone else is showing up to do.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think I did have a similar experience, but I didn't know I was agender yet.
Yeah.
And people that were men and also leads often did not know what to do with me. And I also was not often picked to dance.
Yeah.
Even as a super femme person. So I think that, coming out actually helped me see a little bit of that more
like how
clearly.
and why that was going on.
Because I straight up had people that were like, yeah, we've been waiting. We knew your ass was queer. Adrian, I'm thinking about you.
Yeah.
Adrian was like, so anyways, we all knew.
That's always like, some people think coming out of the closet is this thing where the queer person knows you're gay.
Not always.
And it's like this huge thing where it's a secret that you're revealing to people. Normally, in my experience, all the genderqueer people, like we were one of the last to know.
I absolutely did not know.
Yeah.
And I even had someone as young as like when I was a teenager. I got accepted to an all women's college, and this older guy in the neighborhood was like, I always knew you were gay. And at the time my whole identity was kind of shattered by that comment. And looking back, I'm like, he was a pretty astute guy.
Yeah, like actually he knew. He actually had an understanding of that.
Yeah. So I think, I that experience of being othered because of how you present is really real.
Absolutely.
Really, really real. And like I said, it's changing, and I think we should talk about how it's changing and like the spaces that do exist. But first, let's get into like what is uncomfortable. I mean, like where does the rubber hit the road in this traditionally binaried art form?
Absolutely. Well, I think that we've already touched on one of the main ones of the more feminine and dainty and demure you are, the more men are going to ask you to dance. And that doesn't matter if you're cisgendered or not, because there's trans women in my community that I see getting in plenty of dances and stuff like that. It's the people that sit in the middle that get a little lost.
Yes, I think that's true. Yeah. And I mean, even there are a lot of men that are follows.
Absolutely.
That are more feminine.
Yeah.
And they're pretty popular too. So it's kind of that range of, and first of all, I want to say being chosen by a man is not the fucking point.
We don't need that. That's not the fucking point.
Like,
no,
that's really not what it's about.
The fact that that's what's centered in these spaces is one of the issues that we're trying to address here.
Exactly. And when I'm actually, 5 or so years into my dance journey, I actually stopped waiting to be asked.
Yeah.
And that brought up some pain, but also it brought up this big liberation of like, no, I'm choosing.
Right. And that, yeah.
Even as a follow, because I wasn't leading yet. And I was like, I'm going to look and see who I want to dance with. But yeah, that being centered and people that are, either off the binary altogether or some blend in between, there's really not a lot of space created. And that's hella uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, we're moving into a world where people are saying lead and follow instead of saying ladies and gentlemen or something like that, that we are moving towards getting more, gender equity.
Absolutely. I feel like, there's either, well, it's changing now, but when I first started dancing, there were either a lot of closeted non-binary or agender, trans, queer people dancing, or, and I think some of that's true, or the spaces just were not welcome to those people.
Absolutely.
And I mean, from the perspective of dance as a business, that's crazy because you're just missing out on a whole demographic of people that want to pay you money for dance classes.
Absolutely.
So that area of like the change happening, but it's still being a really big problem. It's like we're like moving in real time here. As things change, we're still noticing all the things that aren't changed yet.
Right. Because it gets a little better. People start changing their language and stuff like that. And then you're like, oh, finally that big thing's a little better. And then you're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
This is still going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like hard work. There are still big, there's pushback. There's pushback on, for the last 5 years, it's like ladies styling has been kind of pushed back against. And people are calling it, follow styling or just styling in general. But I've noticed even online, there's this new pushback of like, well, what's wrong with feminine styling? And there's nothing wrong with it, of course. But if it's not available to everyone, and if you don't actually talk about that and have that conversation, people aren't going to feel welcome that aren't identifying as women.
Absolutely.
Or cis women.
Yeah.
So yeah, the 2 steps forward, 3 steps back thing is very real.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. In terms of like other things that come up, I think a big one is the value that's placed on men in the scene.
Absolutely.
And to top it all off, most leaders in the community, the people that run the spaces, most of them are men.
Yes.
So there's this kind of like trickle down of men in power that creates a kind of a scarcity for other people to take up space.
Yeah.
And that's really hard.
Yeah, it is really hard. And in a lot of ways, partner dance is an excuse for men to have access to women's bodies.
Exactly.
And for women to then feel chosen. And it's like, how do we like, and just by being a genderqueer person, walking into a ballroom, you're subverting that standard. And it can make it really uncomfortable for everybody.
Totally. Oh my gosh, it's so true. I know, like when you feel that, like when you feel that you're that person in that space, what comes up for you?
Oh, it can feel really bad and I'll want to get smaller. And then sometimes it feels crazy empowering and I just want to take up as much space as possible.
Yes.
I really enjoy this thing that I will do sometimes of sitting to the side in a ballroom and watching for the dances that look unequitable, that look like, the lead is using the follow as a prop. And then after that dance happens, I'll go up and I'll ask the follow to dance.
Nice.
And I'll try to just give that person as much space and gentleness as I can because I want to try and offset the situation that happened before it.
I love that.
And I think that that's a really fun way to take up space. Like I really enjoy being able to do that. Because as much as I'm trying to focus on the follow and make sure that that person's having a real good time, I'm really just trying to make the guy lead before that look bad. I love making men look bad. It's really fun.
It's so tempting to do that all the time, isn't it?
It's really easy.
And it's
very easy.
It's just not hard.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah. And there's a opportunity left and right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Literally walking into it. I know. I feel like, I say this a lot and we talk about this a lot, but like so many of the issues that we face in the ballroom that have to do with gender inequality and like, just general discomfort for people is making everybody lead and follow, or creating an opportunity for everyone to lead and follow. And I'm not talking about like mandatory whatever, but what if classes were just shifted towards everyone learns to lead and everyone learns to follow, and then we both get to try it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I feel like that would fix a lot of things.
Absolutely.
It would like desexualizing the dance isn't the whole point, because there are like in Latin dance, there's like a whole history of it being about procreation.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no need to take that element out of it. And sex is a part of life, but making it about objectification and access to female bodies or queer bodies is not the vibe.
Yeah, not it.
So yeah, I just want every man to learn how to follow and see what happens.
Yes, absolutely. I think that could really change a lot of things.
It would.
If there was more culture of, and not just like learning how to do it in class, but going and doing it at dance socials.
Exactly.
And not just dancing so there's something really interesting that'll happen that I will observe with men who learn how to follow. And they will either only dance with other men or they will only dance with women.
Interesting.
Because they either still want the gender dynamic.
Right.
Or they only want to be with their bros. And I don't see many people, there are some, but the majority of men that I see following choose one of those two camps to be in.
Right.
And I will get in weird situations where some men ask me to dance and I'm like, I feel like you're bringing a bit of like a kink energy. Like you want me to like dominate you. And it's like really exciting that you're dancing with air quotes, a woman that is leading for you. And I'm like, that's not it either.
Absolutely.
Like that's not it. Like the fetishization of the gender queerness is not quite where I want people to go either. Like I want it to just be a level playing field.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I've noticed that too. Oh my gosh, so many stories just like flooded into my brain about all of this. But yeah, I think that's right. There's a lot of like men following where it's kind of a joke. Or like a curiosity about what it would mean to like momentarily embody femininity.
Yes.
And that's like, that's appropriation.
Yes. Someone did a drag performance at Camp Hollywood not that long ago.
Oh, that's right.
They came out and they followed. And it made me feel really uncomfortable. I felt very uncomfortable watching that.
Yeah.
And there were I put that in front of a lot of cis people in my community. And I was like, what do you think about this? And they were like, oh, it's so cool that someone's doing this. And I'm like, well, my genderqueer ass feels very uncomfortable with this because I don't think femininity is a costume to put on. I think it's something that needs to be uplifted and also the binary removed. So because you're dressing like a woman doesn't mean that you get to follow that day.
Right. Right. I mean, it's complicated too, because it's like, obviously we want to create space where everyone can do that.
Yeah.
And when it becomes like a mockery of the role, then you're getting into like, well, to compare it to like a minstrel show kind of a vibe. Yeah. And I don't think that's like a direct, there's stuff about that isn't a direct correlation, but like I've had the experience teaching when I teach lead and follow. I switch back and forth between the two roles now. That's like the way that I'm able to be comfortable in who I am as a teacher, gender wise. And so I've had leads that I'm teaching with that don't primarily follow the way that I primarily lead and follow and switch. And their whole body language changes when they become a follow.
Yeah.
And it's because they're so uncomfortable being perceived in the quote unquote, air quotes, passive role.
Yeah.
That they have to take on this mockery of femininity. And it sucks.
It does suck.
It sucks so
and
bad.
I don't think that following and femininity needs to be linked.
It doesn't.
Those don't need to be synonymous with each other.
And
you can be a masculine follow.
And
like,
femininity does not need to equate to being demure.
Yes.
Or passive or small or easy. So there's all these things. There's like layers and layers and layers of the gender question when it comes to dance. And like, oh my word. And also, you don't have to be macho when you lead. I'm sure you know.
No.
Big part of leading is actually the softness of it.
So true. I don't think I'm a macho lead at all. And even though when I added leading to my dance life, I also walked away from a lot of femininity. That wasn't because I was like, well, leading equals being masculine. It was just because I was trying to find more of my authentic self in the gender roles. I'd love to get into some of the positive side of this and what dancing can do for genderqueer people, not just how it takes to exist in the being a genderqueer person in the dance world, but just what dancing can do to help us embody our own authentic genders.
Yes. And then the follow-up question is what queer people can do for dance.
Yes.
So like, let's get into it, right? I mean, for me, what it has done for me is it has allowed a visible platform for me to be myself and be seen. And that's my particular story, is that I was in the dance world for a long time before coming out. And then I had to kind of catch up with myself in that public space, and choosing that and walking through that discomfort of not being known this way previously. It like changed my life because I could see immediately who had my back. And then beyond that, I was able to see all the other people that needed space created for them.
Yeah.
And then the next layer was I got to be embodied by physically moving as a new person.
Absolutely. It's
incredible
with that, because partner dance can be really incredible, because what it does do is it creates a little relationship that happens, a one-on-one relationship that's going to happen for a song. And whether that relationship has a masculine or a feminine or a mix or whatever, there is still someone who is creating the shapes and someone who is filling those. And you can come to those dances in whatever combination of lead and follow and whatever type of gender expression that you want, and you can come play with that.
Right.
And you get the opportunity to play. And also with coming to dance socials and stuff like that, there's a lot of opportunity to show up with trying out a new gender expression.
Absolutely.
I'm going to wear this top tonight. Ooh, that felt really fun. Like, or, I'm going to try wearing this hat. Ooh, that was kind of weird. I don't know. That wasn't quite of mine, but I loved that I got to try it. And I just think that it's like a really magical space.
Yes. And like part of being queer, a big part of it that I've discovered is like my favorite thing about it is the experimentation and the play of discovery that never ends in who we are. And dance is just a really cool container for that.
Yeah.
Dance is a super cool place to, like you say, like try stuff out, and with like the right safe people and like the right vibe. And also there's a lot about being in those spaces where it'll be kind of like neutral. Like it won't be bad and it won't be good. It'll just kind of be like a net zero, But a big part of it is finding the other people in your community who are going to like go there with you.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot,
Yes.
like I want to name drop Queer Chata. Queer Chata is all over the world, all over the country right now. And there's places.
And Canada.
Thank you. There's role rotation in Europe. There's the Queer Afro-Latin Dance Fest. There's like places that are cropping up in the last couple years that are specifically made just for this kind of community to play.
Yes, because queer folks are not getting what they need out of their local dance communities. So queer people are making their own spaces and they're gorgeous.
So good.
Boy, do I love queer chata socials.
I know.
They're just incredible places to be. They're very freeing.
Yes, I know. And I actually teach some of the queer chata classes. And the folks that show up, I'm just like, yeah, you're my people.
Yeah.
You're my people. And because of the way that queer chata markets the classes, it's built in that the work that we're doing in those classes is going to be like fun and playful, but it's also going to be about embodiment and experimentation and safety, which is so exciting. And that's, I think, what, back to that other topic, that's what queer people bring to dance.
Absolutely.
Is that making spaces that aren't queer, queering them up, that's going to create safety for everyone.
Absolutely. Yes. Because a lot of queerness is having an awareness that there is a way to do things outside of this agreed upon white supremacist heteronormative box, you know, that there's a life outside the white picket fence with 2 kids and a dog, that there's a whole world of existing as a human being that looks different. And when we bring that into the dance world, it really changes how dances function and look and feel.
Absolutely. And I also think it, like, you know, we've talked about intersectionality. It also intersects with the roots and history of the dance in terms of uplifting people in this culture that have been erased.
Yes,
absolutely. Which is so important because these are liberatory dances.
Absolutely. I would love to orientate the fact that all of those people that we love from the Harlem Renaissance, all gay.
So many
gay people. And that was one of the reasons that, like, the Harlem Renaissance was a space that queer people could exist because they were dismantling white supremacy in this one corner of Harlem where they dug out a little bit of space to be themselves. And being queer went right alongside that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. In terms of like more good that it, like what dance brings to queer folks is like thinking about just like being in spaces where there has not been room before. I think that like dance is a really, it's an evolved community that has actually really erased queer people. And so bringing them back into the spaces and actually taking up space in that it's like healing work.
Absolutely.
Right. So dance is like, by virtue of it being a place where there hasn't been, like, partner dance has not welcomed those 3rd and 4th and 5th gender expressions or queer identities. It just being in the space itself is healing.
Absolutely.
So that's like incredibly powerful. Just like creating space for it is like kind of it.
Yeah. Just making space for it and not dictating what it needs to look like and just letting people find their authentic nature and not like policing what they're doing isn't quite right. Yes.
And that's such a huge part of the white supremacy that has taken over partner dance.
Absolutely.
Is you have to be this, that, and the other in order to be accepted into this space. And I think, like, looking back, that's one of the reasons I felt so uncomfortable through all those years is I wasn't quite fitting in. I just wasn't fitting in. And because I was so attached to my identity as a woman and to being, you know, picked.
Yeah.
It just felt like I was doing something wrong. But the reality is I'm not that person.
You're just not that. Like, and I wonder, and you know, I mean, as a non-binary person, sometimes I'm like, does being cisgender exist? But like, there are people out there that are definitely like, I am a woman, and I super believe that. And I think that's beautiful, and you can do that. And if being feminine makes you truly, truly happy, then like, please do that. And if you're shoving yourself in that box because what makes you happy is validation, wow, I'd love to get you validation in a different way.
Totally. Absolutely. And I think that, like we've all had, anybody that's transitioned has had the thought, or like anybody that has come out as non-binary, agender, or just like queer in general has had the thought, how can anyone not be this?
Yeah.
Because it's it's like truth serum
Right.
to accept that in yourself. But yeah, the reality is there's all kinds of realities for everybody, right? But like the piece that is harmful is when we can't be ourselves.
Absolutely.
When we're trying to fit into the rigid way over here, or on one side of the spectrum, way over here on the other side of the spectrum. And I think that's another thing that I have seen companies and communities like Queer Chata have like really started to like push that forward, because it means people have space to go and just like not know.
Yes, absolutely. And honestly, like if you are a dance-based business owner, you're turning so many people away from your business that you probably don't even know or understand. Or like you have dancers that show up and they love it for a while and then they disappear after 6 months, a year or so. And it's because they just couldn't emotionally grow in the space, even though they love dancing.
I think that's so true. And like, it's not enough to just try to like create a space where there isn't like active harm being done.
Yeah.
I think it's important to actually create space that is for queer people.
Absolutely.
Because when you do that, anyone's welcome. But when you create space for that, then you actually invite curiosity. You invite inclusivity, instead of just trying to cram queer people into the existing binary of what you offer.
Absolutely. And I think that it's incredibly important to not just be creating, a queer space that's to the side.
Exactly.
Like, oh, we have a switch room.
Right.
Great. There you go. Queers, you can go over there.
Get out.
Yeah. That's not it.
Nope.
That it is creating queer spaces where all people are invited to come in and be respectful, or foundationally accepting queerness into your event or your space or what have you.
Yes.
And having everybody get on board with a level of accepting and moving through a less binary space.
So how does a event organizer or a business owner, how do they do that?
Well, the easiest, best way to do it is everybody leads, everybody follows, and give everyone a taster of what it's like to be on both sides of the dance. And that's going to level out the binary roles that exist and allow people to choose their own authentic nature in it. And you're going to be creating better dancers.
Absolutely.
And more dancers that know and understand what both sides of the dance feels like.
Yeah, I'm having a memory of, I've worked with a lot of teachers over the years in my professional work. And I remember trying to get teachers to implement this just small moments of experimentation with switching roles. And I had a teacher tell me, we didn't advertise that, so I'm not going to teach it. And I thought, okay, looks like, it sounds like I need to somehow get this public facing, right? If this teacher is going to do it. And I got it public facing. And then the teacher said, I just have so many follows that come to class. These women work really hard. They just want to be led. They just want to let go. And I'm thinking, wow, this is the pressure that we put on women in this society, that there are only certain places where they can come and relax.
Yes, because everywhere else they're doing tons of emotional labor.
Correct.
Like, oh my God.
And then like so that's like very curious and like fucked up. Excuse my language.
We can swear all we fucking want. It's our goddamn podcast.
Thank you.
And also it's like, it's incredibly fucked up that they're doing the emotional labor out in the world. So then they want to come and just follow when they get here. And following takes emotional labor.
Yeah.
Like that's also emotional labor.
Hello.
It's
also, do we love it that people are making decisions for us? No. Like, why do you feel it's your job to make a decision for somebody about what they need? And so that kind of mentality is it's so outdated, but it's really prevalent.
Very.
Very prevalent. You know, and I'm thinking, man, you know what's really fun is you have the shapes, you create the shapes. That's kind of low pressure as a lead. Yes, it takes time to get there to be able to do it. But I think we have a real misunderstanding that needs untangling about what leading and following actually means in terms of like gender and gender identity.
Yeah.
You and I are always talking about like, this is another podcast, but we're always talking about like, is leading inherently more masculine, or is it like, is it actually a really like passive role where you like uplift the center of attention being the follow?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then like this other question of like being able to offer things where people get to make a choice. That's actual healing.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Where else do we want to go, Lou?
I would love to hear about something that you say about your styling that you don't do.
Oh yeah.
You don't do masculine styling. You don't do men styling or feminine styling or women styling or follow styling or anything like that. The way you describe your styling is that you dance like the night sky.
That's right.
And I think that's just so gorgeous because it takes gender out of it and it makes it so expansive.
Thank you.
I would love to hear more about that.
For asking about that. Yeah. Actually, I was just talking with a student last night in a private about it because she was comparing I'm teaching a class that like sometimes I'm there and sometimes this other teacher is there. She was like, you guys just do it so different. And I was like, we're doing the exact same technique, but this is how I approach my styling. And I can't speak to how they approach it. But for me, styling is about creating marks or like almost like an artist, like mark making. And to me, like the night sky is like this big dark canvas with all these little bright lights. And so when I'm actually styling, I feel like I'm creating those little lights in the darkness.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you could see a video of me now, you'd see I'm really smiling because it does feel inherently me. And that's something I just completely stumbled upon. And so like for some of you, it'll be like, the swirl of ocean waves, like it could be literally anything, the way that the light dapples through leaves, like it could be so many things.
Yeah.
And also encompassed in something like natural and elemental like that, all genders are present.
Absolutely.
And also no gender is present. So it just really feels like me, which is neither and both.
Right. Because gender is a construct. So you get to decide if you want to use it or not.
Right.
And I think that deciding to use something that isn't a construct, it's literally an element, is really gorgeous and beautiful and like just a really juicy, rich way for self-exploration that's outside of these boxes that are dictated for us.
Absolutely. Do you have a way that like is your own feeling of that you want to share?
I so admire your night sky. I wish that I had something like that for me to share and to say for myself. However, I don't feel like I'm ever styling. I don't feel like styling's a thing that I do. I feel like I am just letting energy out of my body whenever I'm dancing. Like it's not anything specific. I'm just that break was so great. I want to shake my ass to it. Like that's all that matters. I mean, actually, if I have any styling that could say I try to dance with my butt as much as possible. Like that's it. I got a big butt. It deserves to be focused on. That's it.
But I think that's like, it's the same thing. It's just like finding ways that you personally experience your own energy.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's it. And that's why bringing queerness into dance spaces is going to like change the whole game.
Yeah.
Because the like cookie cutter of the lead, the follow, the femininity, the masculinity, how they interact, and then the dance is over is really boring.
It is boring. There's not a lot there.
It's really boring. No matter how interesting and musical your shapes are, if there isn't room for each person to actually be who they fucking are, then dang.
Yeah.
We like that's why people get bored. and stop
Yes.
dancing.
Absolutely.
Because
I get
there's nothing
bored.
to
I'm
it.
to the point where I'm really bored watching dances like that. I
Oh.
do, since I'm, disabled, I do a lot of sitting and watching the dancing. And I, there's the really fancy people, the man leading, a woman following, and they're super fancy dancers that win dance contests, and they're doing tons of spins and, crazy swing out styling. And there's a huge dip at the end. And I'm just like, yawn.
Dude, tell me about
I've
it.
seen that dance a bazillion times. I'm not really experiencing anything new. And when I see the dance at the back of the room, that's the two femmes that are just giggling with each other and trying to find the beat, I'm like, oh,
I know,
I could watch them all night.
I know. Your perspective really shifts when you start to have your own experience of authenticity. And then it's like, oh, well, actually, you can see a dance done a million different ways and it'll still just kind of be the same thing if we're not really ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, this is an exciting topic, actually.
I know.
I feel like really energized
Yes.
thinking about it. All right. Well, we're getting here to the end of our episode. Thanks for the conversation, Lou.
Thanks for the conversation, Kate. Always a pleasure talking about how to tear down the patriarchy with you.
I'm so here for it, Lou.
Absolutely.
Peace
Queer
out.
our dances.
Yes.
Step,
Bye.
triple step. Ooh, ah, jazz hands.